you see that when exchange comes in, then exchange gives you a lot of flexibility in doing this contracting, because this is a IT-enabled platform. In Austria, there is a green hydrogen index which is being discovered by their exchange, gas exchange, CEGH, Central European Gas Hub.
The green hydrogen will be, target is 5 million tons, but our demand by 2030 is expected to be about 13 million tons. If you have to do that, then for decarbonization, green hydrogen will be an enabler.
See, when the new segment or new commodity is coming into the system, then first thing what happens is that you need investments in the sector. And that comes only through long-term contracts. So this is what the process started. Now we have seen the bids are coming, and then people are quoting, and then you have some demand and some supply. As this will grow over a period of time, prices will start coming down. Then there will be some time when there will be some surpluses with the supplier, and so there will be some time when there will be demand from the consumer, and then we need a kind of short-term market. So when short-term markets start happening, initially those markets also are not very granular. They are month, 6 month, 1 year contract. And then what happens that you start doing a bilateral contracts. That's stage one. After that, you see that when exchange comes in, then exchange gives you a lot of flexibility in doing this contracting, because this is a IT-enabled platform. And there you get a lot of value in terms like there is a transparency of what you do. We discover a very transparent price. Second thing, there is a lot of flexibility, because if you want to buy for a day, for 2 day, week, month, all of that you should be able to buy. And that's what consumer wants. They want flexibility. If they have some shortage, they will buy something from the market. And when this starts happening, then you slowly have markets growing. And then at one point of time, there will be futures or derivatives will be built on the price which is discovered on the spot exchange. And this is the total cycle of a market. And we have seen, and before that, suppose today short-term trades are likely to happen maybe sometime later. But what we can do today, what we have seen from markets abroad, is that you can have some kind of price benchmarks. So like in Europe, there are 3 benchmarks already are there. In Austria, there is a green hydrogen index which is being discovered by their exchange, gas exchange, CEGH, Central European Gas Hub. In Germany, there is a European Energy Exchange which discovers Hydrix is their price benchmark. And there is another project which is called High Exchange in Netherlands, which they call it HyClicks. That is and the formula is a bit different in all 3 cases. But all of that will give us kind of what is the best for India. And that part of that study we are getting it done. And then we will also develop some benchmark for India initially. Then we will have a platform for hydrogen.
So how do you see India positioning itself competitively for exports while ensuring domestic supply security?
Very relevant. But good part in this whole hydrogen thing is that you need green power like solar and wind, and you need electrolyzer. So when you have green power from solar, wind, you know that we are putting up 500 gigawatt plants are there. And all this 500 gigawatt will not be initially consumed by our Indian customer, because solar power, if you generate a lot of power, then that will not be consumed within the country in solar hours. So what you need, something where you can convert the water into hydrogen. So that will not create any kind of problem with the energy security of the country, because you have enough resources, enough potential. It is almost like unlimited potential for solar. So you must be able to utilize that potential for the benefit of and water is of course not under shortage, because if you take seawater and then convert into hydrogen, that will be, there is no limit to that. So this hydrogen doesn't pose any problem for energy security in the country.
Lastly, sir, what do you think And what are the opportunities of Indian for Indian hydrogen in global markets and the domestic?
No, it is going on well. Now, a lot of tenders have, and today Minister also said that we are discovering good price for green ammonia, good price for green hydrogen. Though it is not the best price, but we are going in the right trajectory. So, price trajectory which is emerging from all the bids is really good. And that gives you indication that over, say, 1 or 2 years, the prices will be milder and it will be more acceptable to the market. And then you will see the demand coming up. So absolutely we are going on the right track.
I believe you are talking about green hydrogen.
Green hydrogen.
Okay. So the status of green hydrogen is that we have a national green hydrogen mission which was announced by our Honorable Prime Minister. And there is the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has been monitoring it and initiating it. A lot of activities are happening around that. The target is 5 million tons of green hydrogen to be produced by 2030. Actually, if you see the hydrogen demand in India, because if you don't talk only of green hydrogen, the green hydrogen will be target is 5 million tons, but our demand by 2030 is expected to be about 13 million tons because we need a lot of hydrogen in our refineries, fertilizer units, etc. So out of 13, 5 may be green, but there is a scope for increasing it further. We can even go up to 13, So there is a lot of opportunity, I must say, room available for, because we are also committed to reduce our carbon emissions. So there is an opportunity from that point of view.
Sir, in your presentation, you also spoke about the challenges. So if I may ask, safety is often cited as a concern with hydrogen handling. How is the industry addressing the risk across the value chain?
You see, people do talk about safety. When natural gas was introduced as a fuel, there were a lot of apprehensions people had. So I don't think that there is anything to fear about. Only thing is the precautions need to be taken with any fuel. Even with the petrol, you have to take precautions. Having said that, I come from the oil industry background. I've worked in Indian Oil for more than 37 years and in the Federation of Petroleum Industry for 6 years. In the oil industry, we have been handling hydrogen for ages. We know how to handle, how to produce it, how to use it, how to store it. And so I don't think that there are any safety concerns. Another thing is that it is a very light gas. If it leaks, it just goes up in the air. Unlike that other fuels which will spread to the ground. So once it goes up, there is no possibility of hydrogen spreading. But still we have to take precautions. There are safety regulations which have to be followed. And if all precautions are taken, safety practices are followed, I don't think there is anything to fear. We need to have proper safety regulations in place and followed up by the users.
So what are the key sectors in India where hydrogen adoption can make the most immediate impact? You see,
hydrogen, now India is going for decarbonization of various sectors. We are going to implement the carbon credit and trading scheme, where 13 sectors have been identified for compliance of carbon reduction. We have most of the companies have a goal to move towards net zero. If you have to do that, then for decarbonization, green hydrogen will be an enabler in various kind of industries. Now, one example where immediately we from our Hydrogen Association side, we made a study and recently made a report on hydrogen for mobility, for that matter. We found that hydrogen in the one of the session, the Indian Oil director, my successor, who is the present director, I was earlier there, he did mention that the fuel cell buses which they are running are giving 50 kilometers per kg of hydrogen. Now imagine if you are running a diesel bus, it's giving 5 to 7 kilometers, maybe 7 kilometers a liter of diesel. When you convert it into kgs, it may be 10 kilometers. So fuel cell bus is giving 5 times, kg with 1 kg of hydrogen. So even if hydrogen is 5 times more expensive, it is affordable. Even today for mobility purposes, diesel is about 100 rupees a liter, which is, if you account for kg basis, 120 or so. So 4 times more. The hydrogen also is 3 times more energy of natural gas also. So for mobility, we calculated that if fuel cells are developed fast, it can be economical even at the current prices. And for internal combustion engines also, the kind of only thing is the delivery and transportation costs, and the delivery stations, dispensing stations do cost. So the infrastructure costs are higher. Otherwise, the production cost, which has been shown in the various standards for green hydrogen and green ammonia in last couple of months, can make even hydrogen viable for transport. Similarly, for other sectors also. For fertilizer, there is still gap. The other, it was mentioned in today's conference, there is about, $200 per metric ton of gap is there, so which will have to be covered. So further costs need to come down to be more aggressively used. But in different sectors where they will be using it for decarbonization, when carbon credits are also taken, maybe they will cover up some gap also. So there is a lot of scope for using green hydrogen, and hopefully the prices will come down further with the ramping up of the capacities and more indigenization of electrolyzers, more development of new and innovative technologies. Renewable power cost is also coming down. Government is also very supportive. They have been giving a lot of incentives. They have been waiver of the transmission charges. Different states are also giving incentives. So there is a great hope. We see that it will become a viable fuel for various industries in near future.